Hey everyone, this is Mike. Welcome back to my channel, Z Motorsports. I'd like to welcome you to our kitchen. As you can tell, I'm not in the shop because I don't have a shop currently. The last video we posted was a farewell video to my last shop, and as some of you have been following, noticed that starting in July of 2016, the wife and I went on a hunt for our new home, which brings us to here. This video is basically going to be an introduction to a little bit of the house, but mainly for the shop. I was going to wait until the whole shop was done and do a one video, but I'm kind of getting a little anxious. I've gotten a lot done on not only the shop but also the yard. So I figured I'd maybe break it up into segments. Plus it's a crappy Saturday morning here. It's raining like crazy, so thought, what the heck, can't go out in the yard and work, so we might as well maybe do a video. So we're going to call this Shop and RV Garage Part 1. So we'll start there. Again, we started looking, my wife and I started looking for a new home back in July of last year, 2016. We looked diligently for quite a while. We had a very specific list of things we wanted. We talked about building a home, but with building materials being what they are, thought we'd get more bang for our buck finding an existing home. We were finding that was more difficult than we originally thought it would be, because we were being so picky, or anal if you will, about what we wanted in a home, which is hopefully going to be our last home, our retirement home, whatever you want to call it. But we lived in our other home for about 26 years exactly. And this one we want to be a little more, we was looking mainly for location. We wanted a nicer upscale neighborhood. I actually did want to be in a neighborhood. I wanted to be in a subdivision. We like that, that fitment, that appeal, kind of almost like a gated community, if you will, but we did not want anything with an HOA. I had a lot of friends telling me that what I wanted to build, what I wanted to do, I'd be better off to go find several acres out in the middle of nowhere. That doesn't really appeal to me and my wife. We, I don't know, kind of anal about the yard and different things, and I really like the subdivision type setting with nice grass, curb and gutter, mow strip, fencing, and so it was just trying to find a neighborhood that fit our criteria. We needed a big enough lot to be able to put a 3,000 square foot detached garage up, and again, we did not want to deal with an HOA, but we wanted something with a little more strict CC&R, which are basically covenants, conditions, and restrictions compared to the neighborhood we came from. Anybody who follows along a little bit and realized what we were contending with our Sanford & Sons neighbors, that, you know, was basically hoarders packing in God only knows what into their backyard, and the city would do nothing about it. I tried talking to them, do nothing about it, so we decided to just basically cut bait and run. So probably a good move now looking back. At the time I wasn't thrilled about it, but now looking back, what we've been able to purchase, what we've been able to tweak and modify to our own, and the lot, we are just under 3/4 of an acre lot. It's pretty much 3/4 of an acre. It's a corner lot, which again, I wasn't really thrilled about the corner lot part, but now that we're kind of getting into it, I really am enjoying this corner lot because we have no neighbors to the east of us, which allows us a beautiful view of the Wasatch Mountains, just east of Ogden here, along the northern Utah I-15 corridor here. So it's beautiful. We're a mile and a half, 2 miles off the interstate, so quick, easy access to things, but yet we're kind of out in the country. The neighborhood we bought into is in a nice little single entry, single exit subdivision. There's only 20 homes in the subdivision. They're very pretty upscale homes. Fairly new. This home is only 3 years old. The previous owner, the original owners, had it built. They did a nice job on the layout, the floor plan and everything we really liked, but the contractor did a beautiful job, but as far as anything the homeowners did out in the yard, just really half-assed things together. The sprinkler system, the drainage issue, everything half-assed. So I've been doing a lot of work trying to get all of that up to where I want it. So again, we finally found the home. We found it in October, started negotiating, and it ended up being December before we were able to close the deal. So we bought it the first week of December. We come in, again, this home's only 3 years old, but they had a lot of animal mounts on the walls and different things that just really detracted, if you will, from the actual home. So we come in, we redid hardwood floors, we added more hardwood floors, we recarpeted the whole house, we repainted the whole thing. It was a little over 3 weeks worth of work. We actually moved in Christmas weekend, so it was a long Christmas weekend. I really wanted to, Rich told my wife would kind of like to be in it for New Year's, and that's why we made a push. My son was a great help, helping us get the shop moved and everything. It took us 3 weeks to move the shop, and it took us about 3 days to move the house. So we were in it by, I believe, the 27th. So we was able to bring in the new year, our new home, and start this next chapter of our life. But anyway, we broke ground. We took possession on we signed on the house on a Tuesday. I talked to the building inspector in the city well before we had closed on the house, even before our due diligence period was over, to kind of bring them up to speed on what we wanted to do on the property. They wanted to make sure we fit, was following the CC&Rs for the neighborhood. All that was pretty much done preliminary. So we bought the house, we signed on a Tuesday. We took possession on a Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, I dropped by the city, dropped off my engineered plans, my building application, everything, and I got a call that following Monday morning saying your building permit's been approved, come in and pay for your building permit and you can start building. Contractor that I'm having doing the construction is doing a great job. However, we had some weather delays through most of January, which pushed a couple of his subs off. So by the time we actually dug the hole, I believe it was around the 29th or 30th of January, by the time we dug the hole for the shop. And then they come in, did footings and foundations within about a week. So by the first week of February, we had the hole dug, footings and foundations, and then the whole month of February was pretty much lost due to foul weather. We needed about 4 to 5 days of good weather to be able to get the floor prepped, the aggregate hauled in, and the concrete done, and then a couple of days for the concrete to set before it really got below freezing. And we just could not get that window we needed until about the first week of March. So they come in, boom, went to town, got the floor in on a Thursday. They started on a Monday, getting it prepped, aggregate hauled in, compacted, poured the floor on a Thursday, come in and saw cut it on Friday. My lumber package showed up Saturday. Walls were standing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By Friday, by the end of that week, they had all the walls sheathed, sand up braced, and then the following week the trusses were supposed to be here, and wouldn't you believe it, we had a truss delay. So the trusses were delayed a little better than 2 weeks. The trusses showed up this is Saturday morning now. The trusses had shown up Tuesday afternoon. The crane was scheduled for Wednesday morning. They had trusses stood and were starting sheeting by about 9:45, 10 o'clock Wednesday morning. By the end of the day Wednesday, they had half the north side of the shop roof sheathed, and finished up sheeting the south side yesterday, Friday, and got it all dried in yesterday afternoon. So about 15 minutes before the rain started last night, they had it all dried in. So next week we're looking at, so basically the garage now is all dried in. Next week I'm told the exterior finishing is supposed to start. So the shingles will be going up, the stucco, then the brick, and while they're doing, as soon as the roofing is on, the shingles are done, then the electrician will be coming in. So we should have an electrician in here, and at the same time they're doing the stucco and brick. So hopefully, at least I'm being told, things are really going to start rolling here within the next couple of weeks. My contractor is really hoping to be able to have this pretty much wrapped up by the end of April. So that's going to thrill me to no end. So I'm getting pretty excited. I made a couple of short segments throughout the build here. Some of it is showing the shop as it's being built. Others is showing my dry well installation of the downspouts. I've put 4 dry wells in for the house here and 2 for the shop. We have quite sandy soil here, so I'm being told that what I'm doing is way overkill. But as any of you who followed my channel realize that we have a saying here at Z Motorsports channel, and that is overkill is underrated. So I do not want to ever have any drainage issues or water issues in the future. I had some small issues at my last place. I didn't like the downspout extenders out on the lawn where I had to move them, mow, and then put them back in. So I wanted something more permanent here. So I'll cut here and go ahead and bring in some segments, and then I've got a bunch of pictures towards the end I'll throw in there, so please stay tuned, and I'll throw a bunch of pictures of the progress that we've been doing, or progress as it's been taking place and unfolding on the erection of the shop. And then I'll come back with another section or 2 as we're finishing things up. So it's a full house here, but I basically have everything from my old shop, my old 1,150, almost 1,200 square foot shop, shoved into this third bay that's 50 feet deep by 12 foot wide. So close to square footage, I guess, but nowhere near usable. I've just got it lined down the walls. There's a little loft up overhead. We put some lighter stuff, and then I also have the basement full. But I've got my compressor at least wired in to a 220 outlet that I can also use for my bandsaw and my welders if needs be. But this is just a temporary setup while we're constructing a new shop and RV garage out back. So there you can kind of see an idea. I've got my mill covered up here, my other bandsaw, my lathe covered up back here behind my toolbox. Also back there on the ground is my 2-post lift laying down with a bunch of stuff stacked on top of it, and my toolbox, my son's toolbox, and then we've got our motorcycle stuff in here. Just a couple of little segments here of the wife and I's new house. Don't mind the snow. It's still the end of February here, so it's slowly melting off. And ornamental rock garden in the front. Steps going up to the front of the house. So I wanted to show one little project, well, multiple projects, but one major project, but multiple segments, I guess I should say. I'm not really impressed with how the original owner had run his drainage from his downspouts. So he came down his downspouts, and then he run right along the foundation, perforated corrugated drain pipe, and so all that water coming off the roof was being dumped right at the foundation. And make matters worse, right behind this rock here by my sidewalk is where it was terminated, just daylighted. And so it took me a little while to find that because we bought the house actually in December, and it started snowing right around then, so we weren't able to do much yard work. But I couldn't figure out why my bark kept washing across my sidewalk, and then I had an ice skating rink here on the front sidewalk all winter that I had to keep melting and chipping away at. So now the weather's gotten a little bit nicer here. It's the middle of February here. I've been working on this for probably about 3 weeks now between the backyard and the front yard. But I was able to put a solid connection onto the downspout. I run down through the rocks under the sidewalk, and you can kind of see where I've cut the sod and made a path around. And as I come around, I'm taking this downspout, and then also there's a downspout here to the left of the front door that goes down behind these rocks. I've dug down underneath these rocks, and I've done the same thing. I've run PVC, 4-inch PVC down under the mow strip, and I've come over, and I've basically come over here to what these are made by NDS, but they're a flow well. It's a type of dry well system. So basically it's just a reservoir that leaches the water out, collects it from each downspout and then leaches out into the soil. Now, we have very sandy soil here in the subdivision that I'm currently in, and this is way overkill from what I'm being told, but I had some drainage issues at my last house, and I don't ever want to have drainage issues here at this house. Now, my last house was a lot of clay. This probably would have worked really well there. Most of my neighbors here have the pipes running out and then just a bubbler or just daylighted. At my last house, I had the flexible one, pipes on. It was a pain in the butt to move them every time I wanted to mow, because I mowed twice a week, and then reconnect them. And I thought, you know, I want to do something more. I want to do something more aesthetically pleasing at this house, and something I don't ever want to have to deal with down the road again. So there again, I come down out with PVC into basically a dry well, and then I just put a bubbler on the top as number one, an inspection hole and an overflow, just in case. So the hole's about 4 feet deep. I've got about 10 inches of gravel on the bottom. Then I placed the flow well in, wrapped it with landscaping fabric, and now I'm to the point where I'm going to put, probably 6 or 8 inches of gravel around it, then landscaping, or then visqueen, and then about 10 inches of topsoil, and compact everything really good. And then I've got my sod that I can roll back out and put back in place, and after a few waterings, you'll never even know I had this all torn up. So I've got one here in my front yard that these 2 downspouts feed into. I have 2 in my backyard that each have 2 downspouts feeding into, and then I have one more on the side of the house that's on the side of the garage over there. There's 2 downspouts. They'll each feed into one dry well, where in the first section where I'm going to have lawn, and then off the detached garage in the back, I'm going to do 1 dry well per side of the garage. So each downspout will feed into its own dry well, because there's going to be a lot of surface area on that side yard. Right now we have just a big mound of dirt where the just been removed from where the shop in the backyard RV garage is going. So the nice thing is I've got a nice wide driveway from the side of the house to the property line is 50 feet. So I'll be doing about a 24-foot wide concrete driveway with metal gates, and then the vinyl fence going down between the neighbors. And now, probably for the one that most people are more interested in, or the house in the yard, is the detached garage, RV garage and workshop. So here's my footings and my foundation sticking up. Footings are already been done, foundation. They're just getting prepped for the floor work, hopefully to take place this coming week. We've had off and on snowstorms the last month, and it has really put a hamper on getting my floor done. But I got home from work yesterday. Concrete guy was here measuring and getting everything calculated, because he will be out, I think he said Wednesday or Thursday, to do the floor. So getting kind of excited to see this all in concrete and then walls standing. So again, it's 60 feet across the back, and then 50 feet. You see how wide my approach is going back. My property line is actually on the opposite side of this skid steer here, and there's my house. So I'm 50 feet from the side of my house to my property line. So my gate will be, my driveway is going to be about 24 feet wide, and I'm going to have build my gate across there, going back to the garage in the back, and then the front of the garage is 45 feet off the back of the house, so I'll have plenty of room to get vehicles in and out. The big bay door here on the side is the one where my motorhome is going to go, so I'll be able to back right in from the street, back it right in. And then on the side of that, I still have 12 foot that's going to be concrete for a trailer, another RV pad, whatever I decide to do down the road. I had to stay off that property line because my neighbor over here is building the garage, so I had to stay at least 7 feet off my property line. I just decided to go a full 12 and make it usable 12 foot. I figured I'd throw in a little video segment here, just kind of showing the plans that I had drawn up for our shop and RV garage. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot the camera back and bring in and just kind of thumb through page by page and kind of show you what the actual plans are. And then maybe I'll do a quick little shot of where it is right now. They just barely got it all dried in today, so we're maybe halfway through the build. Here's the artist's rendering of what we're looking at. Again, it's going to be 50 deep by 60 across the front, 16-foot high walls to the eaves. The RV garage is going to be 16-foot wide door, 14-foot tall. It'll be about 20 feet wide, and then 40 feet for the shop area with two 12-foot wide by 10-foot tall doors, my man door. The CC&R for this subdivision requires that it look exactly like the house, right down to all construction materials. No pole buildings are allowed, so it has to be footings, foundations, and stick construction. I went with 2x6s. We're going to be doing an R19 and an R48 insulation in the ceiling, R19s in the walls. The CC&R also states that it has to have brick, 50% of the front fascia that matches the house, and then the remaining stucco, and minimum 36-inch brick or rock on these. The front fascia as well. It can be rock or brick, but it has to be exactly what's on the home. So we're going to go with brick, because that's the majority of what's on the front of ours, with rock inlays. So we're going to be doing the brick, and then again, the CC&R states 36 inches on the remaining sides. However, we're not doing it on the back because we're only 3 feet off the back property fence line, and the building inspector is going to allow me to do away with that. But I opted to go 4 foot high on the sides, just because with such a tall gable end, I figured a 4 foot and then the windows at 5 would help break up the space, maybe make it look a little more proportionate. I also upgraded to a commercial style steel frame steel door. The garage doors are all insulated to match the house. And then also stated in the CC&R, it has to have architectural asphalt shingles, again, to match the house. Okay, so here is the north elevation. This will be the front, facing the front, same direction as the house. There again, you can see the 16 wide, 14 tall, and then the two 10 tall by 14 wide doors. This would be the south elevation. Again, this shows the brick along the back, but we are not putting brick along the back. It'll be stucco the whole way along that. Here is the east elevation. This is going to be where my windows are at, and this actually is also going to be the side that faces into the back of my backyard. I have about 85 feet, I believe it is, from the side of my garage to my fence line. And on the back side where the fence runs, I have a 3 foot back set, and that's where I'm going to be on that. So here you can see, again, the two 12 foot wide, 10 foot tall doors, the man door, and then the 16 wide door. This will be the center wall, so there'll be 50 deep by 20 wide for my RV bay, and then 40 wide by 50 deep for my shop side. My man lift, or excuse me, my 2-post lift will be up in this front the back quadrant, about 4.5 feet off of this side wall, and then the other one ends up being, can't remember what it ends up being. It's about 134 inches off the other one, I believe. And then in this, so there's where the dividing wall is going to be, roughly right there. In this quadrant right here is going to be my machining and fabrication. So lathe along the back wall, mill, my son's CNC mill that he's building, and then all down the side, this wall here is going to about halfway, is going to be various bandsaws, welders, drill press, disc sanders, all that good stuff. And then the welding table will be right in this area here, so we can still pull a vehicle in and have approximately half the depth, so approximately 25 feet from here, midway to where the fabrication stuff actually starts. I'll have my 2 motorcycle lifts over here, and same thing, the 2-post lift will be about 16.5 feet off this back wall, so I can pull a full-size vehicle in and still have about 5 or 6 feet. I think a full-size truck will net me just under 6 feet from the bench to the front of the vehicle, and I can still pull another vehicle in behind it end to end. I'm going to have an L-shaped bench in this corner over here, then my solvent tank, my son's toolbox. I have a row. I'm going to get some locker style shelving over here so everything's covered, versus my last shop where I had everything on shelves. I want these to all be enclosed bead blasting cabinet and coolant recycling machine back in this corner. Over here again I'll have lockers and shelves, welders over here. I'm also going to throw a 50 amp outlet here tied into one of these, so if I have to weld on something outside my door, I have access to it here. And I'm going to put a welder outlet over on this wall midpoint, so if I have something on the lift that I need to weld, I don't have to pull an extension cord around like I did at my last one. I'll have multiple 50 amp and 30 amp plugs available. RV side over here, I'm going to put my compressor over here in the storage side, so I'll have a circuit over there for that, and then I'll have a 50 amp RV circuit over here to plug my coach in when it's in here. And I'm also going to put a 50 amp connector or connection just on the inside of the wall. I didn't want to do it on the face because I don't like the looks of that, so I will actually have a buddy plug just inside the door there, so if we have friends stopping by or whatever, they can back their coach back here and just drop the plug right there. Plus I also have one up here on the house. I also believe this one here would probably be more accessible, so as you're coming back to the shop, you'll be able to just slightly jog off to the side here, and it'll still allow me full access to the shop side, even if I have somebody's coach parked here. Pretty much the same view. You see the dividing wall there. The lighting is not set in stone. This is just, actually we've changed this. This side over here is going to be, it is going to have 6 lights in the RV side. I decided to go LED lights. These lights here will probably be about where they're at, but the 3 on this side, I'm actually going to hug them closer to the wall, probably only a couple feet off the wall, so that when the RV is backed in and I jog it off to the side, I can still have light down this side and down here, and I should still be able to pull a couple vehicles in on the side over here down the road if needs be. For the most part right now, where I don't have the necessity, or I don't need that, I'll probably back the coach straight in. But over time, I'm 20 feet wide. I should be able to back it in and jog it off to the side and still give me a good 9 or 10 feet over here to put a couple vehicles end to end if needs be. Like I say, the compressor will be back here. And there's just the truss layout, pretty standard on 2-foot centers, 50-foot
So here I am standing out on my back deck. You can kind of get a visual of the size. So again, it's 50 feet deep, 60 feet across, 16-foot eave height, and they just put they just got the felt on it today. Got a storm rolling in, so I wanted it dried in before the weekend. It's Friday afternoon about 4:30, so they just left. The floor, the concrete guys did the floor a few weeks ago, did an amazing job, turned out great. Probably gonna have the same guys come back and do my concrete. My concrete will actually come off the corner of the shop here, come straight under to the house here. And I've got 12-foot parking along the other side of the shop over there, and my neighbor's garage he's getting ready to build over here. He's getting ready to break ground on his house over here, so I'll have concrete between ours, go all the way up to about almost the front of my garage and my house, and then cut in, and then it'll be 24-foot wide going out to the street. There's my dry wells that I did, one for each side of the roof of the shop there. Been trying to get the ground all leveled from the previous owners. They had a mound of dirt out in here somewhere. I have no idea what it was for, so I've got some ornamental curbing in the back with a couple of rocks. We just put the fence in and the mow strip. Just finished that up. Here's my dry well off of the southeast side of the house. You can see one downspout, one out here, and the other one come off the house there. And then here is my dry well coming off the other 2 downspouts here, and the one over here that goes underneath. So I've got a total of 4 dry wells for the house. I got the 2 in the backyard, 1 in the front yard, 1 on the side, and then I have a total of 2, 1 for each half of the roof on the garage.